In this video, I'm going to show the new features that were added in release Beta.19. We're going to start here at freezeworks.com, and I'm going to just click on the Grid Designer tab, which is going to bring Grid Designer up in our browser. To make sure you're on Beta.19, if you have this tab open, go ahead and save your changes and click the browser refresh button. That's up here, or you can also refresh it with the reload button down here. But at the end of that, you should see at the bottom of the help menu, and you may have to use the scroll bar to go down here. You should see about Beta.19, and then you're on Beta.19. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you some new crop tools down here. So down here is the clear all button. And what this did originally was it would clear an area. If you have selected an area, it would clear it out, basically fill it with the background color, which is basically erasing it. Or if you don't have anything selected at all, it will clear the entire grid. And lets you start over again. It also clears, if there's no selection, it also clears the project information and things like that. So it kind of starts over with a fresh version of your project. So that's one way you can like restart your project. If you don't like your drawing, you can just start over again with that. But now, instead of just a single one button that does the clear all, now we've got a drop down here, which will pop up 3 different possibilities. So we've got the clear all button. That's the original one that was here. And now we've got 2 extra ones. We've got clear outside the selection. So this clear up here will clear the selection. It'll clear the inside of the selection, whatever you selected. But this one here will clear everything except the selection. So you can select something and clear the rest of the grid, everything except what you've selected. And this one down here is a crop. So now you can select an area on your grid and then crop the entire grid. So you're going to cut off the outside of the area of the grid to just hold on to your selection, and you're going to make your grid just the size of what you selected. Okay, so these 2 are disabled because right now you need a selection in order to be able to use these bottom 2 options. This one up here works in 2 different ways, with a selection or without a selection. So I'm just going to demo these 2 here. This is the same as it was before. So let's go over here. Well, let's draw something on the grid here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then let's just draw something on here. Try and draw a little face. Okay. And now let's go and do some kind of selection on here. So let's say we select this area over here. Okay. Now when I go in here and I pop this up, I can clear inside the selection, which is this button here. Let's undo that. Let's put our selection back up. Or I can clear outside of the selection. So now it's going to keep what's in the selected area and erase the outside of that. Okay, and all these options are undoable. And now let's do one more here. And let's do crop outside the selection. So now what we're going to get is just that area that was inside the selection, and that's going to become our entire grid. So that's the entire grid then. Okay. So, and this works with all of the selection tools. So you can do select like single color motif, which would select that circle on the outside. If you're using the crop, it's going to crop the rectangular area that bounds that set of things that you've selected. But if you do clear outside the selection, it's going to clear everything that is not selected. So it should clear this face on the inside here too. So you see it cleared everything except whatever was selected. Same thing with the multi-select. So you can use any of those selection tools, and that's how the crop and the clear tools work now. Okay, now let's try another new feature over here in the display menu. I have added a feature called Crosshairs. And I added this because, sometimes when I'm working on a drawing, like for instance, I have done some patterns for Christmas stockings. There are areas of the pattern that I would like to mark off. I would like to have some lines, that I can move around on my grid so that I can show where certain things are. They're not really lines that are part of the pattern or the drawing itself, but they just help me to draw. So for instance, when I'm doing a Christmas stocking, the pattern for the Christmas stocking is 62 spaces wide, 62 stitches wide. But only the middle 30 stitches of that are actually what shows on the front of the stocking, and the two side flaps kind of fold to the back. So what I'd like to do is, in that particular case, be able to put some lines, up on my drawing that will show me where the edges are of the front of the stocking so I can, figure out what I'm doing. But basically, I decided that I would, implement these crosshairs, which I thought would be useful maybe for other things too. So you just go into display crosshairs and you pick crosshairs that you want. There's like 6 different colors right now. You say save. If you pick more than one, then they are on top of each other. So you have to pull one off and put it where you'd like it. You could use this also like for if you if you want to make sure you were drawing inside of a border area and you want to make sure, particularly if you've got a larger pattern with a lot of cells or spaces on the grid, um, it can be kind of confusing if you're way on one side and way on the other as to whether you're really lined up or not. So these are some additional guidelines that you can put, on a drawing like this. Okay, so that's those. And then if you want to turn them off, you just go back into crosshairs and you turn off, the ones that you want. And then that one will go away. These are actually saved. The positions of these are saved with the project. So when you save your project and then you come back later and you open it up, your crosshairs should still be there. Okay. And the same with if you share a project. If you share the project and somebody goes and opens it up and they load it into the Grid Designer, they will get the same positioning of these things. Now, as you move these around, if you want to be able to see the position of where you're moving it, you want to turn on the Show Mouse Position here. Okay, and then we can see where we're putting this at. So, 0, 20 up there and 20, 0 down here, and then you can tell how far from wherever, so you put that up if you're moving them around. Okay, one other thing, let's see, actually 2 other things, I guess. Let's go into the palette here. There's one button that's been added to the editing of palettes. So let's go in here. Let's say we're going to edit the embroidery floss. And there's a new button down here called Restore, which is going to restore the original palette. So if you have a palette like this, you can hide buttons and you can so you can hide a button like this, or you can hide a color, hide colors. You can say hide all, and then you can show just certain ones, maybe that kind of thing. So you can make modifications to this, and you can also add, new colors. Like if I wanted to add like this yellow here, I can add that color to the palette. So I'm going to say add yellow. If you want interested in what you can change in palettes and that kind of thing, you want to see the working with colors video. That should go through all the things that you can change. So what we added here was a custom color, this yellow color here, and we have 2 other colors that are shown and other colors that are hidden. And so if we want to restore this palette to its original condition, we can now press the restore button. and that will restore it to its original condition. And then you need to do a save after you do the restore. Now, there is a bug that I found in the area of color substitution. So when you use the color substitution tool, which is this tool on the top here, in some cases when you're doing color substitution, it was adding duplicate colors to the palette. And if you have noticed that problem, if you're looking at your palette and you've got some duplicate colors in it, the way to fix that is to go to the palette here, pick up your palette. It would be best if it's not the palette that's being used in the current picture that you're editing. So pick up the palette that you want to clear the duplicates out of, go to Edit Palette, hit Restore, and then hit Save. And that will get rid of those duplicates if you see those showing up. Okay, then one last thing. There was a change in the Excel spreadsheet. So let's go down here to download. One of the things that it originally would not do was it would not create an Excel download of your pattern without a name for your pattern. And now it will create now it just says it's an unnamed project if you go and create it. So for instance, this one is unnamed. So let's go download this into an Excel spreadsheet file. Okay. And I just want to show one thing there because I do have a couple people who are using this. And I just want to show that the format's a little bit different for the color key page. This opened up on my other terminal. Okay, so here on the color key page, originally the color field was separated from the symbol field, and now I put those together. So they take up less space. They're put together like that. So there's just a slight change there. Okay, so I think that's about it. There's a couple other things that were fixed, and some of the palette loading should be a little faster. So I'm hoping that you might notice that some of the colors load a little faster than they used to. But that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and happy designing. Bye bye.